Emotion. E-motion. Energy in motion. Have you ever wondered why you feel so good after a really nice long cry? Or why you feel much better after screaming in your pillow, punching a wall, or venting to your friend? Energy in motion. The fundamental concept of life that everything is energy, and energy, obviously the law of conservation of energy, cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred. So trauma is energy that has not been released, stuck inside your body. The concept that the body follows the mind, which is a very kind of, I'd say, has become very common concept and a common idea, that your thoughts create something that you then feel in your body. Your thoughts create your emotions. This is, for the most part, entirely wrong. And I know I just juxtaposed myself, but it's very important that we understand your thoughts are like, for example, I had a call with a French person the other day, and on that call, someone had to be there to translate. So let's say that I am my soul, I am me, the translator is my brain, and the French person was my body. When you feel emotions, your mind and your brain acts as a translator between these two worlds of the 3D and everything beyond, the life force behind the body that you are in, to tell you, the life force, what you are experiencing. And although these thoughts will probably not be entirely true, for example, if you are being left out at a social event, social function, you might get the thought in your brain, no one likes me. And although this is like probably not true, it acts as a translator and a transmission for the emotions from your body, because you don't feel sadness in your brain, you feel sadness and grief oftentimes in your heart, and that's why we have expressions like broken heart, or like having a broken heart, being heartbroken, because you're not mind broken, you're heartbroken because you feel it in your body. Anxiety you often feel in your solar plexus, below your heart, if we're talking like chakra kind of base, I suppose. Yeah, you'll often have this gut feeling, this bad feeling, we call it, in your gut, for example, where often anxiety is. If you feel like you've got a lump in your throat and you're not able to speak clearly, maybe like when you're upset or when you're in an argument with someone, it's the energy in your throat chakra being blocked because you don't feel like you're able to speak clearly your truth, and for that to be validated, understood and transmitted clearly to the other person, to the situation, etc. So the point of this is to demonstrate how important it is that you sit with yourself. It is so difficult and it feels like the most uncomfortable thing ever. And that is why you look around, every single human, well, most likely in this day and age, every single human around you will be distracting themselves. Distracting themselves from what? Distracting themselves from the uncomfortable feelings that they have inside of them. This is the reason for people constantly listening to music, for people constantly playing video games. This is the reason that people, for example, will be watching something and be on their phones at the same time. We as a society have gotten to the point where we are so hyperfixated on fixing our dopamine addictions, as I spoke about in my last video, for example. But I've come to the realisation that all of these fixes and all of these things cannot be, it's not the root cause. As I'm talking about this whole thing, dopamine addiction is not the root cause. It is a symptom. A symptom of what, you say? A symptom of people distracting themselves from themselves. And I, obviously, I'm human. I've done this about 1,000,000 times. I feel this random feeling of anxiety or uncomfortableness inside me. So I open TikTok and I scroll and scroll until my mind is distracted, my dopamine senses are fried, and it lulls me to sleep. It lulls me to a metaphorical sleep or actual sleep, it depends. But I think because these tools, nobody wants to delve into themselves. Nobody wants to do the hard work. Nobody wants to do the healing. I don't know why this keeps going out of focus. It's uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. It is horrible. You have to delve into those parts of yourself so deeply repressed. Unfortunately, most of the time, there is no rational explanation for your feelings. And that is the hard truth that nobody wants to hear. Because we want to make sense of everything. We want there to be a concrete, logical, rational reason why there is something or why there isn't something, how we can fix it, how we can get to the next step, especially people who are more in their masculine energy, as I definitely was/am. There doesn't have to be a reason why. There doesn't have to be an explanation for it. But there doesn't have to be judgment, because judgment is resistance, and nothing can flow when there is resistance. Emotion, energy in motion, how can there be motion when there is resistance? If there's water, which your emotions are, think literally tears, you feel waves of sadness, waves of guilt, pangs of anger, guilt, etc. Your emotions are here, they are still flowing inside of you, but you've put up this resistance so they can't get out. This is out. If you didn't put this up, if you feel it gets out, it does leave, everything ends. Everything has an ending. But if you feel your emotions, they will eventually, no matter how long it takes, they will leave, and that is the most important part, and it will be quicker than you think. Honestly, I promise you that. But let's say you have this resistance up because it's like, oh, this is uncomfortable. Oh, I don't want to feel this. Oh, I want to just be, I want the camera to be focused. Oh, I just want to distract myself. I don't have the time for this. I don't have the energy for this, etc. You put this wall for a prolonged period of time. This emotion gradually, slowly but surely, starts to slow down in energy because it's less new or less like triggered, and eventually it comes to a stop and condenses itself into trauma. These are your blocks. This is your resistance. Your resistance to yourself has created more resistance. Any fear you act out of will only attract more of the same. If you act out of fear, it attracts more fear. So you've acted out of fear with your resistance, and it has condensed this fear inside of you in the form of a block, in the form of trauma. There you go. Say to yourself, in any way, shape or form, it's okay that I feel like this, because judgment, and I definitely struggle with this, is probably one of the worst things that you can do for your inner child, because it's a form of non-acceptance, and what your inner child needs is to be accepted by you, and to be soothed, and to be reparented by you. If you say, hey, it's okay that I'm feeling like this, and I promise myself that when I have the time, I will sit with myself and feel this out. An emotion, without doing this, will take me between maybe varying intensity a few weeks, a week or so to a few weeks to a few months to deal with, whereas by actually making the time to sit down with myself and feel, varying on intensity, it will probably take me between 5 minutes to a few days. And I think shadow work is a really good starter for this. For example, I feel angry, I feel frustrated, I feel perplexed, I feel exasperated, I feel confused, I feel sad. This was one example. I wrote this maybe like, I don't know, 4 pages of I feel. Literally, and this gets your inner child so much, because if you write it in the most basic kind of childlike language, it really targets them, your inner child. It really brings them to light, because a very, very high percentage of the emotions that you will be experiencing will not be rational, and you will be thinking in your head, why the hell do I feel like this? And we humans want to make sense of everything, but sometimes, most times, there is no rational explanation for your feelings. Typical, my camera died. Anyway, I'm gonna film the rest of this on my iPhone, just because I'm on a roll. Let me try and get the same backdrop. The mic will probably be really bad. Okay. And you can hear all sorts of things like the wind, the cats, maybe the door, I don't know. Anyway, I'll quickly finish this off. So, the emotion, charge, whatever, that I'm personally dealing with right now, however, is taking me a longer time. But that is only because it is parallel to the fact that it is a bigger, more prominent, deeper issue. And every time I sit down to deal with it, to release it, to move it through my body as best and as much as possibly will come out, I always end up releasing big chunks of it, or I'll release big chunks of the resistance or the cause behind it. And without doing any of that, this will probably have been an issue that would have lasted me my whole life. That's how deeply seated in me it is and was. So just look around at ordinary society, at all the people who, for example, stay in the same friend groups with the same people, in the same town, in the same job, their whole lives. No hate towards them, but their spiritual conscience is switched off. Because if they were working on themselves and if their vibration was getting higher and higher and higher, then all of those things which were at that lower vibration, not saying they're low vibration things or that they're necessarily bad things, but all of those things would fall away. Because you can't match, you don't match, your energies do not match. So how can they be in your life? They will literally just fall away as you get higher and higher and get all the new things meant for you. This is not a new topic, like hundreds of thousands of YouTubers are talking about this, so I won't delve too deep into it with my personal insight just yet. Sticking related to the topic, because I could like to ramble on all day, all night. But that is why it is so important to do the hard and listen to your body. Please, I swear to God, please. Really feeling into it until you get all the intensity and all of the emotions are like collected, and you imagine collecting in all of these different emotions. They might not even be yours. That's a good point. They might be from past lives, parallel lives, future lives. They might be from other people or just from the general collective. Imagine this energy as like a big blob, I don't know. And imagine pulling it out of yourself, like your higher self. Literally just imagine these energies and emotions leaving your body. Feel them until they are gone. Feel them until you can't feel them anymore, or feel them until you feel that you've reached a point where nothing else can be released at that moment in time. And if you want more like I don't know, what do you call it, the biography at the back? What do you call it? Bibliography at the back, like Melanie Tonia Evans, Christy Marie Sheldon, just any like somatic based like method of healing really goes into it very well, instead of just thinking, imagine your thoughts as clouds passing by, because that's fine with surface level stuff, but if your brain is being the transmuter for your body, you're basically just obviously detaching yourself from your thoughts, but there is a more likelihood that the feelings will still stay in your body, at least to some degree. But yeah, I just felt really inspired to make this little video, because I was doing this and I thought to myself, people are so distracted from their own emotions. If any of this, what I've said, because I know I'm a very rambly talker, if it doesn't like make sense or anything, please just like tell me and I'll try and elaborate the best I can. Or if I rewatch this and I don't like it or whatever, I might make an updated version, like scripted, because this has been a very informal, unscripted video where I've just been trying to piece together and turn my thoughts into something tangible to share to anyone that might need it. Maybe this will get no views, but it's okay because I can still document my own experience and healing journey. Okay, so if anyone's been watching, then thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And maybe I'll see you next time if I upload another video, which I probably will. I just felt inspired to do this, and I might add anything that I've not explained clearly when editing. So yeah, goodbye and Merry Christmas if you celebrate.